Patrick Mahomes just signed a $504 million contract. His base salary this year? $1,300,000. And the gap between those two numbers? It's the same gap between your paycheck and what you expected to earn this summer. Let me show you why. Today, I'm breaking down what Mahomes actually takes home and what it teaches every teen about the gap between a headline number and real wealth. Let's get into it. First, what actually happened? On June 10, 2026, the Kansas City Chiefs reworked Patrick Mahomes' contract. The total value is now $504,750,000 through 2033. The first NFL contract in history valued at over $500 million. That's the headline. Now let's talk about what it actually means. Here's the first thing to understand about NFL contracts. The number you see in the headline is almost never the number that matters. Most NFL players have very little guaranteed money. A team can cut a player at almost any time and owe them almost nothing. The headline number disappears. That's the reality for the majority of players in the league. Mahomes is the exception, and understanding why he's the exception is the lesson. The best players in any field have leverage, and leverage is how you get protection that most people don't get. Mahomes' deal is structured so that effectively all of it becomes guaranteed through rolling mechanisms in the contract. Each year, more money vests and locks in. The Chiefs have restructured and reworked his deal again and again since 2020, including a cap restructure just this past February, and now this extension. That's not a sign of instability. That's a sign of a player so valuable that the team keeps finding creative ways to lock him in. The lesson: a big number in a headline doesn't tell you how protected the money is. Always ask, how much is actually guaranteed? Now, let's talk about what happens to the money he does earn. His total cash earnings in 2026 are approximately $56,750,000. Now, watch what happens to it. Federal income tax. Mahomes is in the top federal tax bracket. 37% on earnings above the threshold. On his income, that's roughly $21 million gone to the federal government. State income tax. Missouri's top income tax rate is 4.7%. That's another $2 to $3 million. And here's something most people don't know. NFL players also pay income tax in every state they play road games. Mahomes doesn't just pay Missouri. He pays in every state the Chiefs visit that has an income tax. Agent fees. NFL agents can charge up to 3% on new contract negotiations. On a deal this size, that's a significant figure, though the exact amount depends on what's being newly negotiated versus restructured money. Add it all up. Roughly $24 to $25 million gone before he spends a single cent. From roughly $56 million earned, he takes home closer to $30 million. Still an extraordinary number. But it's not $56 million, and it's definitely not $504 million. This is the exact same math from your first paycheck video. Different scale, same rules. $56 million in, $30 million home. Sound familiar? Your summer job paycheck worked the same way. The government took their cut before you ever saw it. The only difference between you and Mahomes right now is the number of zeros. The rules are identical. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Mahomes doesn't just earn from football. He earns an estimated $25 to $30 million a year from endorsements. State Farm, Adidas, Oakley, Hugo Boss, and others. His estimated net worth in 2026 is $90 million or more. Wait, he's made hundreds of millions in salary and endorsements over his career. But his net worth is $90 million? Yes, because taxes, agent fees, lifestyle costs, real estate, and investment capital all consume income before it becomes permanent wealth. And this is actually where Mahomes is doing something smarter than most athletes. Instead of just spending, he's building ownership stakes. He owns pieces of the Kansas City Royals, Sporting Kansas City, the Kansas City Current, and an Alpine Formula One team. He took equity stakes in some brand deals instead of just flat fees. He's turning income into assets. Which brings us to the reality that should shock you. Research shows nearly 1 in 6 NFL players, about 16%, files for bankruptcy within 12 years of retiring. Players who earned millions, gone within a decade, because earning money and keeping money are completely different skills. The ones who survive retirement financially are the ones who did what Mahomes is doing now, turning salary into ownership, investments, and assets that keep generating income after the paychecks stop. Sound familiar? This is the three-jar system at a different scale. Save and invest a percentage of what you earn every time before you spend anything. Mahomes earns at a level most people will never reach. But the principles behind what he does with that money? Those are the same principles we've been building since video 1. Should you care about this? Yes. Not because you'll sign a $500 million contract, but because the gap between headline number and what you actually take home exists at every income level. Your summer job paycheck, your first salary, your business revenue. The headline is always bigger than reality. Knowing how to read that gap and what to do with what's left is the entire game. Here's your challenge. The next time you see a big number in the news, a contract, a lottery jackpot, a company valuation, ask yourself, what does this person actually take home? What are the taxes, the fees, the conditions? The gap between the headline and reality is where financial literacy lives. If this changed how you read big numbers in the news, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments. Did you know Mahomes' base salary this year was a tiny fraction of that $500 million headline? Drop your reaction below. See you in the next one.